Shop Talk.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Shop Talk. We're here today at WorkSafe Physical Therapy with Nancy Wilson. Nancy, good to see you again.
Thanks.
Tell me a little bit about the history of WorkSafe.
Well, in July of 2000, another therapist and I decided we wanted to offer employers in Wichita an alternative to the traditional physical therapy clinic. So we started what was then Wellness Professionals, later changed the name to WorkSafe. And our mission really is to focus on work injury prevention and management by offering a variety of services only for area employers. We do a lot of injury prevention, job analysis, job demands analysis, ergonomic assessments. We do pre-employment testing to measure an individual's physical demands or physical capacity. And then we also are unique in that we provide worksite physical therapy. It's kind of like home health at the workplace. We take our physical therapy tools to the worksite so that we can better understand what an employee is required to do and then help them there at their work.
Tell me a little bit more about the testing that you do, like the pre-employment stuff, because I found that interesting.
Yeah. We actually go out and measure the physical demands of a job. How much does an employee have to lift, carry, push or pull? What positions do they work in? How often do they have to do these kinds of things? And then we come back to the clinic and design a test where we can measure an individual's capability to perform those demands. So you know from the very beginning whether a person is capable of lifting, for example, 50 pounds from floor to waist. So it's a win-win for both the employee and the employer.
Is that a fairly new thing that, employers want?
It's not a new test, but I think it's becoming more popular as employers figure out the return on investment. There's about, for every dollar they spend on the program, they can save $7 in injury costs. So it's just another tool for them to help their bottom line.
So tell me about the physical therapy part of it.
We're all physical therapists. We don't have any care extenders like PT assistants or PT techs. We actually, like I said, 75% of the PT we do is actually at the workplace. So we can go out and look at an individual's job and then tailor our program towards those demands rather than trying to guess at what they have to do. And most of the companies we go to have felt it beneficial. They have less downtime for the employee to go to therapy. Instead of taking a half a day off to go to physical therapy, leave the workplace, find a place to park, wait in the waiting room. At the most, they're gone an hour from the workplace.
Right. And some people might not realize the importance of ergonomics and, the way to prevent a lot of injuries.
Sure.
Talk about that a little bit.
We both do office ergonomics and industrial ergonomics. And because we're physical therapists, we're specially trained to evaluate the human anatomy. We can look at an individual, assess the way they're doing work or maybe the way they're sitting at their office in their little cubicle and optimize the position so they can prevent some of these musculoskeletal injuries like carpal tunnel, tennis elbow, shoulder pain, those kinds of things.
So you go to the work areas and do you help design something or just?
We can. Most of the time, for example, we just finished a big project with a company. They had an individual who needed carpal tunnel surgery on both hands. And they figured out it was, when the cost of one surgery is about $10,000, it was more cost effective to have us come in and evaluate their entire office building and optimize their work area rather than trying to pay for another carpal tunnel surgery. And most of the time the recommendations we make are less than $500. A lot of times it's just adjusting a chair, moving a workstation up and down, or we've even used reams of paper for footrests. So we don't usually recommend that they reinvent their entire work area. A lot of times it's just adjusting what they have already.
Can you think of any one of the more challenging things you've been faced with?
We've had to do job demands analysis out at a tank farm for oil, you know, the big storage tanks. So trying to measure the demands when they're climbing up those steps and turning valves, that's kind of a challenge, but we were able to get it done and tell the company exactly, when you hire someone, here's what they need to be able to do from the beginning.
What are some of the other things that you offer?
One of the other services that we provide are called functional capacity evaluations, and that's a 3 to 4 hour test. Usually we do it after someone's recovered from an injury and the physician is trying to figure out what can this individual do now that the injury is healed. So we bring him in, and practically anything you could imagine you'd have to do in a day's work, we ask them to do here in the clinic. So it's anything from lifting, carrying, pushing, pulling, climbing stairs, climbing ladders, working in a kneeling position, bending over, anything you might think of that any kind of job would have to do, we ask them to do here. And that gives both the individual and his physician a clear picture of what they're capable of doing now that that injury's been healed. So it helps allay a lot of fears on the individual side as well as on the physician side. We always ask them to do it in a safe manner. We're not going to injure them again, but it gives everyone a clear-cut picture of what their physical capabilities are.
And tell us, how can people get a hold of you if they're interested?
We have our website, worksafept.com. We have a Facebook page now, and the best way is to call 262-8800. Most of the time, if we're out on a job site, I have that phone forwarded, so they're always going to reach someone if they need more information or they want to make an appointment.
And where are you?
We're at 1999 North Amidon in the Marina Point office building in Suite 100, right on the first floor. It's easy to get in, plenty of parking, and this area is easy to get to from just about any part of town.
All right. Well, Nancy, thanks a lot.
Thanks.
And thank you for joining us on this edition of Shop Talk.